Hello. I would like to discuss the long-term war strategy of Ukraine in the future. Because currently that there's no one doubt that the war will end in this year. It will be long as there really 2 to 3 years or more. For me, I think the war will since 2022 the war will I end after 10 years, 5 to 10 years after. Also, it will be end in 2027 to 2030. This is my current estimation, because the end of the war will depend on the pace of the political policies change. I mean, if the policy has any change, I will renew my prediction about the war is over, and everything will be more and more precise as the process going. Okay, the first thing is that I would like to ask that the first problem is how to what will be the Ukraine's long-term war strategy. The first thing is that the cannon. The Ukraine will only use the NATO cannon in the future, because now only two major countries have produced the Soviet style cannon, like 152 millimeter cannon and 122 millimeter cannon. This is the two major Soviet style cannon. The Soviet style cannon are mainly reproduced in Russia and China, but both of them are unlikely to sell the ammunition to Ukraine. So China, I heard some intelligence that China want to sell some of the cannons to Ukraine, but the United States doesn't want to purchase China's product, and the Ukrainian officials are also unwilling to purchase China's products. So the business has gone. So, okay. This is the problem. This is the problem. The next problem is Russia are unable to send their cannon to Ukraine. This is nearly impossible unless Ukraine captures some of the Russian ammunition. But currently, the incident is very few. The probability of that Russia can acquire Ukrainians Ukrainian can acquire Russia's ammo is very scarce. Also, this is also unlikely. But the problem is that Ukraine has received several all the Soviet style weapons from Eastern EU country like Europe, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, Romania, and Czech and Slovakia. And also for those countries, they are not all use NATO style weapons, and they are not reproducing the Soviet weapon anymore. So that means that after 1 year, nearly all the Soviet style ammunition will run out, and that's the Ukrainian Soviet weapon will all fuck up. They will all lose, unable to be used. So that will create an empty space for the weapon. So the Ukraine will still suffer next year. After that, the NATO has created have founded several factories in the Ukraine. After already have founded several ammunition factory in Ukraine, and they can generate like 155 millimeter cannon or 120 millimeter cannon that to provide a NATO style ammunition. So then Ukraine will have sufficient ammo, NATO ammo, and then the Western country will keep providing Ukraine the NATO weapons, NATO heavy weapons. Then the Ukraine can have more weapons than Russia. But this is a very long process. This process will be more than 2 or 3 years. Okay, so but currently Ukraine doesn't have enough weapon to launch and counter offensive. This is all the thing that everybody should know. But due to the political correctness preference, because to saying that Ukraine doesn't have enough weapon to counterattack is not politically correct, so nobody claims it. But the Minister of the Foreign State, Foreign Ministry of Ukraine, the Kuleba, has claimed that if war need to end this year, Ukraine needs 10 times of the Western weapons. This is very reasonable because 10 times Western weapons will mean the Ukraine will have 2,500, 2,500 tanks, and that is very big amount, and that will definitely secure Ukraine's victory. So what Kuleba said, it exactly a truth, but just on a different angle. It's just on a different aspect. Okay, so this is very good. But currently, now Western only provided the 264 tanks, and the Western want Ukraine to require more than 80,000 kilometer square. The 80,000 square kilometer land. So this is very this is almost impossible to do that. And the more disadvantageous thing is that Ukrainian army currently doesn't have century military genius. I mean, the century military genius is something someone who like Napoleon, who like Guderian, who like the Karl Charles. This kind of century of memory, the military genius. Maybe Ukraine can use a small weapon to have a big success. Yeah, by those military genius, it can do that. But Ukrainian doesn't have such level of military genius. All the Western media like to praise the Zelensky and Zelensky as they are a very good military genius. But I can say this is not true. But because Zelensky and Zelensky is not a perfect military genius, they are just a very good general. But they are not. To me, they didn't reach the level of the military genius. The differences between a good general and a military genius is that military genius can always goes across the whole world. Their military understanding can surpass the army in all generations. What does mean to surpass the all generations is that if you take a look at the history about the like Napoleon bibliography or the World War II about how Ukrainians used manure use blitzkrieg or manure warfare to acquire French, you will find the biggest threat of the military genius is that they can use something different. They can use a tactic or they can use a strategy which had never seen before. They can create a new strategy from the air. Like Guderian, the General Guderian, the theory of a blitzkrieg, that he used Degalu's book, the French founder Degalu. Yeah, he used the books about the manual warfare, and he take it into practice. So he just create the whole system from the Degalu's idea, and he just created new. So the military genius should be very creative. And like Napoleon is also a very creative person, because that Napoleon has significantly adjusted the logistic system in the French army, and he also renewed the conscription system so that the French can have many good citizen army soldiers, and they have enough logistic support, so the French army can move very fast. And when at the Napoleon War, it's always that Napoleon can use the speed of the marching, to cut his enemy into several pieces and annihilated them one by one. So that Napoleon is also a creative military genius. So if you want to be a century scales military genius, you must be creative. You must to create something target from the air. But now the Ukrainian general don't have this ability, or take other you can say the military genius, which is still on in Ukraine, is still not in the charge. Now the commander of the military genius like Zelensky and Zaluzny, they are the good generals. They didn't make many mistakes, but they are not a very creative century-like one, the military genius, because they didn't have something new, something unseen before. They just use the standard military tactics, like for the Battle of Kharkiv. Ukrainian on the last September, Ukrainian acquired many land from the Kharkiv. They required they liberated Izium and some Belgorod and Kupiansk as well. But at that time, the tactics of Zelensky is a very classic manual warfare. If you see my YouTube short, I have created a video to describe why the tactic of Zelensky use is a very classic manual warfare strategy. At that video, I use blitzkrieg, but someone has told me that blitzkrieg is not very. It's inappropriate word in Eastern Europe, so he suggests me to say the manual warfare instead of blitzkrieg. But in Chinese, the maneuver warfare and blitzkrieg are all called 闪电战. We use the same vocabulary. Okay, so the problem is that, yeah, the DXT is used very standard military tactical techniques to liberate rule. This had an advantage and disadvantage. The advantage is that the CSK won't make mistake. So because he won't make mistake, he won't waste people's lives. But the disadvantage is that the Russian general all read military book as well, so they can predict the Zelensky's strategy. Especially they are all graduated from the Soviet military school. Okay, so the disadvantage is that if Ukraine doesn't have enough mass weapon, the definition of enough weapon is that the Ukraine need to have the three times of heavy weapon as Russian army, as 3-1 according to the Lancaster's rule. Yeah, okay. So the 3-2-1 rule is still works today. Actually, in Taiwanese military textbook, we teach our military officers in the currently technology one, we need 6-to-1 ratio, 6-to-1 ratio, and for the sea, then I mean, so for attacking the beach, for landing, you need 9-to-1 advantage. So that is why the Taiwanese army doesn't afraid Russia, because Russia people doesn't afraid China, because China definitely doesn't have 9-to-1 ratio against Taiwan. Okay, so the problem is that why I insisted about 3-to-1 ratio instead of 6-to-1 like Taiwanese army textbook, because I have taken a look on the war in the Ukraine, but I find that both of them all use the World War II strategy. I mean the strategy, not tactic. For tactic, everyone knows that the Ukraine has developed a strong tactic, but on the strategy, itself, they still use the World War II strategy to fight to design the battle. So I think the 3-to-1 rule still works in today's Ukraine. Okay, so this is the first. But if you want to reach 3-to-1 ratio, the first thing is you need to consume the Russia's weapon. But the problem is that Russia's weapon is not very easy to be consumed. The reason is that during 1950s to 1960s, Russia has created, the Soviet Union had some conflict with America, or the Soviet Union has something conflict with the West. So at that time, the leader of the Soviet Union decided to reproduce the weapon about the weapon of the weapon in the preparation for World War III. And now nearly all the weapons are placed inside Russia. So Russia still has many cannons, many shells, and many vehicles during 1950s to 1960s. They are all in Russia. If you want to consume them, this is not easy, because the amount is really huge, and Russia is a very cold country. Unfortunately, the cold environment can preserve those old weapons well. You may heard that there is some weapon called KH-32. KH-32 is actually a 1960 weapon. Okay, the KH-32 has some threat that the KH-22 is really inaccurate. This is true. This is really inaccurate, but this is still very powerful. This can still bomb the shell and destroy the whole building by one missile. So don't underestimate Russia's force by thinking, they are 1950s weapon. But actually, 1950s weapon has no significant change to 1970 in Russia, because on the last period of the Soviet army, last period of the Soviet Union, the government is extremely corrupted. The development department is extremely incapable. So that their developing pace is slowed down after 1960s. So you can see the newest Russia's tank called T-90, means the tank which is designed by 1990s. This is the newest one, and the tank designed by 1980s is the second newest one. The T-72, the tank designed in 1972, is the major one. So now Russia has used about the tank of 1955, T-55. Do you think the T-55 is much inferior than the T-72? I don't think so. I think they still have similar function, unless Russia use T-34, but this is unlikely. But if Russia use T-55, I don't think their force will decline very quickly. So the the path around Ukraine is still very hard. Or it's still very hard until several years until all the T-55, all the T-55 tanks can be ruined. Okay, so this is for one. And in this long war, I don't think charities will be the lead of the support of Ukraine. I think the commercial activities will be the lead of the supporting Ukraine crisis. People will use the power, the strength of the capitalism to support Ukraine instead of directly donating money. Because there are several problems. The Ukrainian charity foundation has significant corruption problem. This is true because there are no watching system. There are no system to auditing or watching or observing the usage of the money of the Ukrainian charity. And that means the Ukrainian charity is an unwatched charity, and it's an charity with absolute power. The Sir as Baron Acton said, the power leads to corrupt. The absolute power leads to corrupt absolutely. So no matter currently or the future, if the watching system, if the monetary system has not been built, there's no way for Ukrainian charity to have great support on this war. In this war, they might be collaborate with other gangsters and snatch people's money, and they will create to me I'm more dark. They will create charity trap. What is charity trap? If you say someone is asking for help, then the charity say, okay, I can help you to help him. Just give me money and I will send the money by you. Then the charity simply take the money away and don't give any money to the person who asked for help. So the person can do nothing but keeps yelling help. And then the charity can ask other people to donate money to the local charities. This is a charity trap. The solution of the charity trap is to build a monetary system to watch what the charities is doing. But currently in Ukraine, this is impossible because all the people who want to monitor charities activities are all described as Russian BOT. They say, oh, you are Russian BOT. Oh, you are not. You are not for Ukraine. You are working for Russia. You are not good. Yes. So all the people who want to monitor Ukrainian charity foundation, gone. They are gone. They are being cyberbullied. They are not being supported. They are be considered as the ones who break the unity of Ukrainians. So I don't think the charities activity in Ukraine will help Ukraine pass through this war. This is very true. But I think the main person of the Ukraine will be commercial persons. They will use capitalism because the capitalism is equal. By selling Ukrainians merchant like agricultural food, like something about the by selling petrol agriculture, by providing Ukrainian software engineers without jobs. The company can give Ukraine more and more money, and the lost money for Ukrainian employees, they will help their relatives and friends, and will help them support war. This will be more efficient than the charity itself. Okay, so I think that in the future, the commercial activity will be the mainstream for Ukraine to survive in this war. The Ukraine will use the strength of capitalism to win this war. This is true. And the second one is that the NATO will provide more and more seats, more training and some logistic help of Ukraine, because Ukraine still suffers from severe corruption problem, and that Ukraine still Ukraine still cannot solve corruption problem by itself. I mean, many years. So, but though Ukraine still has a little progress, but the improvement is very limited. Okay, so I don't think by the war or by the end of this war, Ukraine can save much of its corruption problem. I don't think it's possible. I think it's impossible. So Ukraine will need NATO to do the logistics thing for them instead of their own government, because in general NATO's government officials don't corrupt, or they don't corrupt much. Okay, so they can help Ukraine to do some administrative work with higher efficiency. So this is the second strategy. The last but not least, Ukraine will find a way to destroy Crimean Beach, because by destroying Crimean Beach, Ukraine can cut the main logistic line of the Russia in Crimea. Then Russia need to send the supplement from via Mariupol and Melitopol. So they will pass the area which where has many Ukrainian guerrillas. So because the Ukrainian guerrillas will hunt the supply line of the Russia in Crimea. Then the Crimea will be retake. Then the Crimea will have significant supplement shortage. Then Ukraine can retake Crimea very easily. So the Crimea Bridge is something that Ukraine will destroy it before it acquired Crimea Island. This is the last but not least the very, very important strategy. But currently, Russia apparently they know the importance of a Crimea Beach, so they has built a very, very, very big anti-air system, and they had a very strict check on every car who wants to get across the Crimea. So in a short period, in the 1 or 2 years, I don't think Crimea Beach will be totally destroyed. But I believe before the counterattack against Crimea, Ukraine will destroy the Crimea Bridge first. Okay, so this is the thing I sharing this time. Okay, I'm happy to share it with you, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.